try it and see. Ah, that answers that question. Hello. we got to get all tuned up here. Oh, what beautiful music. Thank you. Yeah. And what beautiful people. Why don't you just turn to your neighbor and say, "Boy, you look gorgeous today." Now, I know that's what your mirror said to you when you got up this morning. So we're just affirming what you've already discussed. So, oh, there is something. These last weeks we've been looking at a fairy tale, and there is something about that's just right for me about that ending where they do go and they lived happily ever after. Doesn't that feel good? Okay, how many of you feel that's the way it really ought to work? Okay, fair enough? Okay, good. Because one of the things that happened was when we were looking last week at the end of the fairy tale Cinderella, and we began to understand that is talking about a state of consciousness. That's the acknowledgement of a state of consciousness that is really the destiny of the soul. That as you entered in here as a spiritual being into this human experience, part of what happened was you knew that's what it was about. And so that spiritual being that you are has been seeking that experience. And we looked and recognized that there is a spiritual term for that experience, and it's called mystical union. The consciousness of mystical union. That is what we're acknowledging when we say happily ever after. And so I figured since the last couple of weeks we looked at the symbology and we saw the story through those beautiful symbols of Cinderella, of the journey of the soul, but I realized what we didn't do was we didn't have the time to stop and say, so how do you get there? So this is how to live happily ever after, okay? Because the symbols are there in the story, but the how-to is really important. So I thought we might just go to work on that today. That work for you? Okay, how to live happily ever after. In the story, there are three major steps that are a part of the creation of that state of consciousness. And so I'm not going to go back through the details of the story, but for those of you, I love the timelessness of those. For those of you, whenever you are listening to this service on the CD or the DVD, or for those of you out there in internet land who are listening with us right now, wherever you are in the world, you can check out that story in the details of the last couple talks. But the first step that we really see for this picture of the soul, the spiritual being that you are on this journey, happens for Cinderella, of course, when she makes that choice to run when everything falls apart. She can't go to the ball. She doesn't have the beautiful dress. And instead of running back into the house, she runs out into the garden. A symbol of that choice that we make to journey into the heart. Because the garden is that symbol of the heart. And it's that choice to enter the heart that is the first real change for Cinderella from that consciousness that is being dominated by stepsister and stepmother, or those false ideas that we have about ourselves that say, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm not okay, I'm not beautiful, whatever it is that we are denying. and that is not true about who we are. That old state of consciousness transforms when we enter into the heart. Now, on how to do that, Cinderella does it the way that we often end up making that journey. She surrenders when nothing else works. Okay, and I don't need to ask you. You don't need to show your cards here. You can okay, but I know there have been times in my life where that is the point at which I decide to take spiritual action. Okay, nothing else works. Okay, but there really is a much easier way to get to your heart. And since I really didn't want to encourage everybody to get to the struggle that we usually have before surrender, I thought we'd take a gentler journey in. And really, it's what we've been affirming in the beautiful music you've been inviting us into this morning. The experience of thanksgiving. Now, not just the thoughts about all the great things that you're thankful for. Remember when we're talking about Cinderella, we're talking about the female image, which is the image of the feeling experience of the soul. So it is the feeling of thanksgiving, that deep feeling of gratitude. That is the step that takes us into the heart, that first major step on that journey to mystical union. The feeling of thanksgiving. So to invite ourselves to go there today, let me ask, what in your life are you really thankful for? Just bring that to your awareness. What are you really thankful for? And now that you put an identity on it, have a thought about it, have named it, I invite you to take the next step, because this is where the power is. To feel it. To feel that deep gratitude on your heart. Let me ask, would anybody be willing to share that with us? What is it that you're so thankful for?
The mammogram and all the follow-up tests were negative.
Thank you, God. Yes, 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 yes.
God delivered me from cancer, as well as having the woman of my dreams, soulmate, come to my doorstep.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I was gone for the last 2 weeks, the 19-month-old grandson said, "Grandma."
Not dying of the heart attack.
Having my wonderful family in the area now and a growing, thriving wealth business, health and wealth.
My wife and this place.
Feel the feeling? Okay, so that feeling, feel how it lifts you. Feel how you suddenly feel radiant as you feel it. That warmth that shines, that's Cinderella's ball gown. Okay? That is the entry into the heart. That place where that divine mother aspect of God, divine love is experienced. Or fairy godmothers, if you want to call it that. So the first step, okay, very real, very powerful. It is the step that brings the experience of transformation into reality. But there's more. Okay, at this point, we have entered into the heart, which means we're now in the now experience. We're in this experience of the beauty, the harmony, the abundance that is the presence of God. But the second major step that happens, as the story shows us, is when the prince takes the glass slipper and makes the commitment to marry the woman who fits the glass slipper. Okay, now we know that the slipper is a symbol of understanding. In other words, it is that symbol of the understanding that has come to us from this experience. So as you enter into that experience of thanksgiving, as you feel the power and the presence that is in your heart, which is that divine love itself, that presence of God, the understanding that we have as we intentionally and consciously make that change is that we have the power to choose love. We have the power to choose to experience and to enter into love itself. Hey, that's the understanding that comes. And so the prince has that understanding. So he can choose. In other words, he's the prince. He can go see any girl he wants. Okay, so he can make any choice, but it's this one that brought forth this experience of love, the beauty, the harmony, that is the choice, and he makes the commitment to marry her. In other words, I'm not just going to go out and let myself have an occasional love experience, where, I feel so good. I'm thankful again. That's wonderful. After 3 weeks of complaining, I'm back to thankfulness. Okay? Or having gotten to the end of the freeway, I'm thankful that all those SOBs, no, that's not it. Okay? Where the commitment to marry is, I'm going to live there. I'm going to live in that place. This is my life. I commit to choosing love. What happens here spiritually is you begin to make that choice to enter into the consciousness, the connection with the divine, to live in that relationship because God is love. So if I'm going to live there, if I'm going to make that choice, I can be there. Now, what happens is it will change you if you make this commitment. So I'm kind of, this is the lawyer in me stepping up and saying, you don't have to do this, okay? Because it's going to change you if you make that commitment. If you say, this is really what's going to happen for me. This is the way I'm going to live. So I invite you to reflect for just a moment. Do you want to make that commitment? To choose love as opposed to being righteous, right, frustrated, indignant. Some of those things get kind of fun. Okay? It's a choice. Where are you going to live at? Remember, we're not going to visit Cinderella. This is marriage. Okay, we're going to hang out together for the rest of our lives. Are you willing to make that commitment? And it is a spiritual commitment to choose love as the consciousness in which you are going to live your life. Now, this isn't going to be something we do together because it's something that you need to choose from that deep place inside yourself and say yes to. So I would invite you just take that moment and ask yourself sincerely, is that what you want? Because when you say yes, the Spirit will respond. And it will draw you and guide you into that place where you will have the conscious choice to choose love. The second step is the commitment to choose love. And that takes us to the third step. Okay, now what we know is that the happily ever after comes about when Cinderella says yes to marrying the prince. Okay, that one part of us has made the commitment. The other one is where we step into what is that consciousness of happily ever after. And isn't that a part of every wedding you ever experience? I mean, isn't that the real desire that's there? That we would create that together as symbol of what we have the potential to experience within ourselves. We're not talking about somebody else out here. You are Cinderella and you are also the prince. Guys, we know we're not their princes, so we got that clear. Okay. This experience to choose mystical union, to choose that experience in consciousness is the third step. And the commitment is that in that choice, I would choose it all the time. It is literally the consciousness of our oneness with God. And that's why when we talk about it, I speak of it as the destiny of the soul, because it is what you really are. You are one with that divine presence, that divine love in this universe. You are one with that. You are the embodiment of it. You are the expression of it. You are the presence of it. It flows in and through everything that you do. To be consciously aware of that in the human experience is the mystical experience. Now, if you'll notice, when Jesus was talking about his oneness with the Father, he didn't go, well, I think God and I are one. Well, I really believe, folks, that God and I are one. Okay, or I had an interesting oneness experience once upon a time. That wasn't where it was coming from. He knew it. The Father and I are one. What he was doing was showing us that we can do that too. That is the experience of mystical union. That is where our feeling world and that which we know of ourselves as spiritual beings come together and unite. That's that marriage where we feel and know our oneness. And how do we do that? Well, when I look back, I shared with you last Sunday that one of the pictures in my mind of this spiritual journey was Myrtle Fillmore's healing of tuberculosis in her body. And that the way that she did that was by making the choice, the commitment, and her commitment was every day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to spend this time in prayer knowing my oneness. Okay, and then she'd do it. And so in that, she would speak of that. She would acknowledge that truth to herself. But in doing that, she would enter deeply into those feelings so that she could consciously enter into that experience of mystical union, that oneness with that divine presence. Okay, and so what I'd like to do to invite us to take that step is I'd like to share with you the words close to the wording that she used for that. It's something that we really touch in a way every time we come together on Sunday, and that's a reason that we do that, is because we're supporting each of our beings in that movement to mystical oneness. And the words that she used, God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsations. God's love is flowing through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsations. Together. God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsation. You feel that? As that feeling enters into that deep knowing, it is true. It is this moment. It is you and who you really are. God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsations. Again, God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsation. three steps: thanksgiving, commitment to love, mystical union. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to share with you is I always hesitate a little bit at sharing how to like this with people, because the truth is I know it is extremely powerful. It makes a very real difference. And with this commitment that's in the middle of it, Spirit will honor your commitment and will invite you again and again to choose love. And as you do, and then you step into that step of knowing, what happens if the first is we're able to touch it. We're able to get there. Again, you are one. So it's not that difficult in a moment to go, yes. And you have that experience, and then the world comes by very quickly. Okay, and our attentions get back out there, and we get back onto whatever else is going on, and we go along, and we have that experience, and then because you make that second step, the commitment, Spirit's going to say, come here. What are you feeling right now? Or you'll begin becoming aware of what you feel right now and go, oh, doesn't feel very much like divine love. Yeah. I'm not only oneness I'm not feeling oneness with the Father. I'm really glad I'm not one with that person because they're, And at that point, you get that choice. Okay, you make that choice. You make the choice to enter. First, that's thanksgiving, honoring that choice. I can choose love. And then divine love flows through my heart. And all the world feels its joyous pulsations. And as you do that, experience after experience, it'll begin to draw you, and suddenly you'll find that you're going along, and you begin to experience that oneness. It grows, it enfolds you, it invites you into itself. And the truth is, those parts of ourselves where we don't know that oneness will be drawn before us so that we can choose. It is powerful. This I have loved. One of the reasons I love Cinderella so much is the teaching that I'm sharing with you today is a teaching that has basically been hid within the mystery schools for ages. Okay? Because some reason or other they didn't figure they were all right for real people. And so we had them through the deep, beautiful subconscious teachings of stories like our Cinderella, where the transformation could happen, and we knew we could experience that happily ever after. We just weren't quite sure how. Now you know how. First step, transformation, the deep feeling of thanksgiving. Second step, commitment to choose love. Sincerely, deeply within yourself, making that commitment and making that choice. The third step, mystical union. God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsations. Together. God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsation. Again, God's love flows through my heart, and all the world feels its joyous pulsation. It is true. And when you choose that, it's what you came here for. It's time to live happily ever after. Bless you.
Thank you, Reverend David. I'm truly grateful to be a part of this community. Thank you for remembering to help me remember to choose love and to commit to it, and to live happily ever after. Thank you. Joy is flowing through my heart right now. Thank you. Okay. If you would like prayer support for challenges or celebrations, our heart ministers will be available with you after the service. You are also invited to place a prayer request in our prayer box by the front door, and we will be praying with you throughout the week. It's time now for our prosperity celebration. I invite you to take your tithes and your love offerings in your hand, and remember that to be aware of God's source for all our good. And if you'll repeat our affirmation with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. In a moment, the ushers will come forward.